Sahbat. My name is Atum Rayay Hatap. I'm a student teacher of the Master Teacher Panabab Yananang. And today's reading is titled Intelligence. For all of you, my Wu-Nuwaupian family, be this day and time. 2. To break the spell of Wu-Nuwaup, you have to look towards the whole, To break the spell, you have to look at the world in a whole new way. 3. The very word spell, as in spelling, is the key to it in mankind's newly made tongue, created by the Euro Freemasons, who created the New World or New England, America, the language of the spell called American English. 4. All that you hear and all that you say helps to enforce the spell. 5. Once you really contemplate what you have been taught to say as you speak, you would really learn to listen for the sounds more than playing the game called grammar. 6. For all of it was formed, shaped to enforce their spell on you. 7. Words with different pronunciations but spelled the same, like live and live. And even trick tones that play on the mind, such as history, which is really to say his story. Or tell, lie, vision, as in television. They also created one-sided words to leave one confused, such as understand, but not overstand, which is clear information, but not outformation, universe, yet not omniverse or dualverse. Now look at recreation as recreation, or fun, as in good times. Note the similar sounding fund, as in capital, because of the letter D, is often lost in American English. Even in Euro English, the world over, slang is spoken. Words are misused and words are made up. Most people don't even know what their own name means or from which foreign language it comes from. 10. The list of misused words goes on and on, not knowing it is all about sounds, tones, frequency, and your body, your shape, size, even color is your voice that is related to your genes. When you speak or tell someone your DNA, genes are affected, that is why a person can take hormones and change their voice, male or female. 12. Now you have Wu-Nuwaup. So learn it, speak it, sing it, chant it, and teach it to your offspring. With that being stated, this papyrus is about intelligence. Now look at the word intelligence, intelligence, speaking or telling to the genes. Because speech does not affect your genes. Just look at the different people world over. Each who speak a certain way, or dialect, language, or accent, can be of the same race speaking English. For example, they may speak English, but they speak it in their own way. As a result, in the way they grew up, their features will look physically different. As Negroes in America, England, and the Caribbean, South America, Sudan, Cuba, and other places speak English their own ways. As a result, each has their own features. 14. That sound, tone, and how it is used in the voice box, tongue, lips, to pronounce the same words. 15. The same as if you look at those of Asia, Chinese, Japanese, Korean, etc., or Arabic, speaking the same, speaking people, even Indians. You see the world over that the language has an effect on how people look physically. Even environment is sound, light is sound, and colors. 16. Intelligence, speaking or telling to the genes, or simply speech affecting genes. It is not how you speak, yet also what you think. 17. Intelligence is needed for people, facts, knowing your way of life. Wu-Nuwaup, our people do not know their own way. They give up knowing for believing, faith, and beliefs in others' languages. 19. Ones that grow outside of Spain speaking Spanish and think that that is their native tongue when they are not Spaniards. 20. Some convert and accept Islam, the Arabs of Arabia's religion, founded between 610 to 623 AD in Arabia, yet they read a translation of the Quran. So in fact, they never really know what it translates. Even if they studied Arabic, they can never speak Arabic and understand the true meanings, especially if they study Arabic these days. They can only replace words such as kitab, book, Allah, the God, Rab, Lord, Malik, king, Malika, queen, Bait, house, La, no, Fuq, up, Tat, down. That is just replacing sounds with your own inner meaning. So they mimic Arabic sounds, yet the insides are still speaking the native tongues. They can never really understand Arabic as the Arabs today, and even worse as the Arabs of 1400 years ago, which is not the same as today. They do not even have the original Quran of 1400 years ago, so they can and will never know its real true meaning. The same goes for the Bible or Torah. It can be Hebrew or Greek. It is the exact same problem. 21. So world over, our race converts to other tongues, and they never realize how this affects their genes, their intellect, their intelligence, how they look, act, or think out of their mind in another's mindset. 22. This is all based on sound as intelligence. Intellect, interlecture, in read. 23. It is all in front of you if you would just look again. Respect, that is, respect. Again, see, look. Look at things again or another way. Respeculation. 24. I know it sounds crazy, Wu-Nuwaup, yet it is not. If you wish to break the spell, it also has to do with spelling words by whichever tongue you must have, your own, and that is Nuwaupi, for our people, Nuwaupu, Nuwaupians. 25. For 6,000 years to date, others have our race speaking their tongues, whether it is Hebrew, Aramaic, Swahili, Yoruba, French, Spanish, Portuguese, American, English, Ebonics, Somalia, Hausa, and all kinds of dialects and slangs. We have been spread world over. 26. It is now time for us to speak our own tone, language, and dialect, sound right reasoning. We have it once again. After thousands of years, they can find in their Bible Genesis 10:13 and 1 Chronicles 1:11 as Hebrew strong number 5320. Naput kuyun, or naput uhim, naput na patah him, patak, napatin, our language, tongue, our ancient language, tongue. You can look up our ancient 27. You can look up our ancient script and find it as napatin, a Sabic, and they can be found on stones today. Also, of course, we have Safaf-at, hieroglyphs. We use it, Wu-Nuwaup. Today we know its true meanings. We have our tones. F major, the planet's tone. A major, the body tone. C major, the cosmos tone. 29. We chant, sing, and speak our language of old, returned in day and time, the new song, the hereafter. Zahutwi pa nabab yanun. 30. That is intelligence from outintelligence, information from outformation, and this universe from the omniverse. Yes, it is all about sound, tones, frequency, voice waves. By sound, all things were grown, made, created, the Big Bang, from which no thing becomes something. 23. You read it in their own holy books, how sound makes things. Look at John 1:1. In the beginning was the Word. Look at Genesis 1:3. And the Word was made flesh. In the Quran 19 35, He, Allah, says it be, and it is. So as you read Wu-Nuwaup, you see that sound is the source of creation, even of flesh manifestation, man infestation. For it says in Genesis 1:26, and God Elohim said, let us make man, Adamites, in our image and after our likeness. 38, that is power of voice, sound, language, tone, vibration, sound wave, frequency, music, key. And the deceivers will say, this is only a play on words. It is really spelled this way, but we know for herein lies the truth. 40. All of this was a master's plan, Wu-Nuwaup. Why do you think America is the only country on earth where people only speak one tongue? Why is it so difficult for Americans to learn a foreign tongue? It was laid out that way. America was formed as a laboratory to breed mixed seeds, a testing ground of people. 41. Set up by the Freemasonic Brotherhood from Europe, Anglo-Saxons birthed English, Caucasus, Spaniards birthed Spanish, Caucasus, Franks birthed French, Caucasus. These are the roots of the Masonic lodges of today, the Grand Lodges, the Grand Dragon. 42. So they created an English dialect for Americans to speak, so it would be hard to learn another tongue, except for those 3 broken degrees: broken English, broken French, and broken Spanish. 43. It is all in the emblematic structure of Freemasonry and the 2 paths they take. 44. The Scottish Rite is Europe equals Sodom, Revelations 11, 1-19. The York Rite, 45, the York Rite is American, Egypt. They both start with the first 3 degrees: entered apprentice, fellowcraft, Blue Lodge, Master Mason, Blue Blood. 47. It is all on the back of the $1 bill in symbolism. You see the world one in between 2 seals. You see the word one in between 2 seals. The seal on the left over the eye of the pyramid is America, the Egypt of the West. The seal to the right, or the eagle, is with 13 stars. From that 6-pointed star above it is Britain, the seat of their intelligence, yet called Scotland Yard, Covenant. And in America, the capital seat is the 6 New England Celtic northeastern states of the 13 which the empire set in New York: Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, and Connecticut. 48. In New York, the state of the northeast capital, Albino, the new Mount Sinai, and hospital to try and breed out leprosy in their genes, and the blood disease called hemophilia. 49. The 2 families in Europe were the Yorks and the Lancasters. 50. Don't believe me, check it out. USA was planned by extraterrestrials of Pleiades, and President George Washington was a Freemason that worked with the Pleiadians, extraterrestrials, in setting up America, New Babylon, Egypt of the West. 51. Sound right reasoning is the key. They have been programming you with sounds, lights, in their key and in their voice is not the same as yours, to block your broadcasting with their white noise, receiving words from your ancestors. 53. As you read in Genesis 11, 1-9, it is all about language. 54. A 400-year program to reprogram your DNA to blend with their own. 55. The Caucasus race knew their end to come in 2000 AD, after 6,000 years from 4000 BC. So they set out to make a new man, a Negro, to blend with, who would be speaking in their tones or in their image after their likeness. 56. For 400 years, that was from 16 AD, when the plan was laid out, until 2000 AD is all the time they had. 57. Their plan included religion, to enforce the spell and create many sub-denominations of Christianity for Negroes and Judaism. Once they saw that these did not hold all of their interests, they worked out Islamism from the ancient Arabic order, nobles of the mystic shrine or Shriners. 58. The Caucasus met with their half-brothers in England, Lahore, Pakistan, to write many English books on Islam and spread it in America to attract the Negroes. The Ahmadiyya sect in Africa and in India and America, spearheaded by the Sunni sects, all created by the Caucasus Arabs, who worked with each, United States president by way of Arabia, so many groups were formed and spread amongst the Negroes of the West to convert them and keep them in Abraham's religion one way or another. Even Baha'i, which is a mixed sect of all three, Mosesism, Jesusism, and Mohammedism. This 59. This new plot by the Shriners and Arabians worked from the early 1900s to 1970 AD, as in 1960s, birthed the new black mind and African mind. Many Negroes broke from Islamism, Moorism, Baha'ism, etc., and became revolutionists of the black power, also leaving the Negro lodges of Masons and Shriners. The spell was breaking with the opening of the seventh seal. In 1970 AD, the sleepy ones in religion of the others started to slowly wake up. 60. And to this very day, the spell of sleep is fading each year as the two groups separate. The new Negroes, Zupu, and the new beings, Nupu. The new beings are you, Wu-Nuwaup, who have your own name, land, language, and the right knowledge, right wisdom, and right understanding. Sound right reasoning, overstanding. 63. Now what is Nupu? Nu, as you call it, Wu-Nuwaup, as in Nuwaupu, speaking Nuwaupi, in Nuwapia, our own tone. 64. When they saw that they were losing the minds of the Negroes in the West, they created new groups under new teachings, Islam in many forms, Judaism in many forms, all kinds of groups, and the latest religion of all, which is the oldest, gangs, small armies, so they had to arm them. Gangs have become armed forces that created a new mind. Rap music, sound to a whole new mind sect called hip-hop, world over, which empowered the Negro race as creators of this new wave, yet they now have become rich and independent of the devil's original plan. 65. Now they have to make their own, they make their own music, cinemas, clothing, and have no fear of the Caucasus race. 66. The spell is being broken. The number of the beast, 66, is not working. 666, is not working any longer. Revelations 13, 1-18. They are coming down. Revelations 18, 1-24. Note the last number is 24. Revelations 18:24, and in her west was found the blood of the prophets, newsbearers of the saints, the pure ones, Negroids, and of all that were slain, killed upon the earth. Now go back one verse and you see what they use Revelations 18:23 for. For by the sorcerers were all nations deceived, sorcerers, witchcraft, wicked religions of ghost spirit worship. 67. Read Revelations 19, 1-21. And note in verses 16 and 17 of the flesh-eating extraterrestrials returning to eat their flesh and drink their blood, now found in books they try and hide in Genesis 6, 1-5. Enoch, Jubilees, Jashir. The Adamites who were taught by these flesh-eating extraterrestrials and their offspring, Canaanites, Sethites, Enoshites, became wicked and evil by nature, Genesis 6, 5. Under Zuin, Zion, Sin, Sinai, and Shemaiah, El Shadi, Semitic, Shemitic, and Abrahamism, Zupu, or Zoroasterism, the root of their religions today. 68. You now have Wu-Nuwaup, Nupu. 69. As new beings in Nuwaup, as the readers you pursue, reason out, and learn the actual facts, scientific realities of Wu-Nuwaup, Nupu, Wu-Nuwaup. And it is very possible that you may experience negative reactions from persons and even dreams. 70. Know this, Nuwaupu, Karadu, they are simply the actions and results of right knowledge, of Nupu attacking and destroying unnatural nature, six ethers ignorance in your DNA. It was put in your minds over the past 6,000 years. You are breaking their spell. 71. As an unnatural nature, ignorance resists and departs. It fights back, and it will make evil come your way in many ways, sexually, drugs, parties, even wealth to distract you from the right way. 72. It would fight back by trying indeed as action to confuse, entice, or frighten you as you are undergoing your overgoing, as outer growing this double resurrection from your miserable state of mind to a new being that has resurrected from a mummy state. Break the grips of problems and suffering. 73. Positive facts destroying negative ignorance. In the case of oppressors, right knowledge, knowing or fate rules over belief, unknowing or faith. 74. In Wu-Nuwaup, natural nature, nine ethers, science, is the correct outformation into information. As you, the Supreme Being, as people, you need and should know nine ether science for your survival and growth for your well-being. 75. Unnatural six ether is ignorance and has only information. They only have incorrect or deceptive lies about absolute nature, natural nature. Pa Nagar Salal, the Negroid race. 76. Blackness is scientific power, supreme balancement of positive creative captivity, not power called white magic or Wiccan, witchcraft, religions of the Anakim or Igigi, cherubim who taught the seed of the Adamites, white magic to enspell others with lust, greed, sex reasoning. 77. The highest mind power in the positive is black magic, sound right reasoning, who is called nine reasoning. 78. It is the true source of the Negroid's race nobility in the positive. 79. The Negroid race has a negative side and a positive side. 80. The negative side has been in control for 6,000 years by 180 degrees of will, choice, desire, the mortal or the physical side. 81. Yet it is now time, after the year 2000 AD, for the 180 degree of positive willpower to take control, to become 360 degrees of positive. You, Nuwaupu, will master or control the 360 degrees of the physical earth, and you will master or control the 360 degrees of the ethereal heaven. That is your school of mastering the 720 degrees and becoming a supreme being. Know this about yourself. The Nataru dwells inside of you as you all are the children of Nataru. Mr. Reed.
Can you hear me? All right, so I heard the breakdown of the new being. Was there a distinct differentiation of the new being and the new Negro? Was there a breakdown of the new Negro that I kind of missed?
Well, no, it didn't go into detail in that. Ironically, I had two options that I was going to read, and the Forgetters was one of them, where they speak about people within the tribe itself who have turned their back on their blood link or their blood covenant that they've made, and they've no longer trust Amanubi Rahmata, and they literally have brung those lustful ways of the outer world into this world. So you see many people who are so-called enlightened or waking up, and there's many people who would be teaching, but there's always a twist which brings you back into that spell. A perfect example, and I'm not even going to go into people who are doing obvious atrocities and devilishment. A perfect example of that is the simple word, the Most High. So as it says in 69 going into 70, how as you begin to embrace your culture, as you begin to embrace Wu-Nuwaup, that you will find suddenly people coming against you, and even in your dreams you'll find yourself attacked. Correct? So somebody would use somebody to not fully embrace Wu-Nuwaup or not fully adhere to the teachings of the master teacher would simply make a statement as in, I don't believe in anything, I just believe in the Most High. One of the beautiful things about the master teacher, one of the beautiful things about our doctrine is that it gives definition and form to those things which have become very vague and loosely explained in the religious world. So even as a person is trying to pull away from the influences of the religious world, they would still carry out those terms, or they might more gravitate towards a more Wiccan type of, there's a lot of sisters and even brothers who are, I'm just into spirituality. What is spirituality? As we're taught, spirituality has a different meaning by literally everybody in this room. They don't even know what a spirit is. If you were to ask them, what is the word spirit? What does it mean? Where did it come from? They couldn't give you a definition past, well, I just trust in nature. It becomes very vague. And those are the seeds, those are those 6 ether seeds which create religion. Because we've had people world over killing in a wholesale manner over words. I'm killing you over Allah. I'm killing you over God. I'm killing you over Christ. Things unproven, just words. And then even in the awakening, they'll begin to gravitate towards that, which always gives them an out and prevents them from embracing responsibility that they are the controlling factor of everything in their life. So as far as a detailed breakdown, an obvious place to go would be the Black Devil's book. The Black Devil, if you're know you're familiar with it, where it would break down. And years ago, I believe it was in 1989, the master teacher said at this time that there was going to be a split in the tab. There was going to be 2 types of natures. There was going to be the nature that gravitated towards family. And he gave the example of Disney World. And then there was going to be that nature which gravitated towards, Las Vegas. Both of them are wide awake. Both of them are aware. Both of them read the doctrine. Both of them have assumed to a degree of responsibility. But one is literally there to help build and grow this and prepare for the future, while there's those who are strictly there for their own personal glorification, their own personal gratification. And those are those type of natures that we would have within. There may be a time when both of those natures are very necessary. But what he was saying, what he was doing was to be aware of those natures right there within the tab. And many of those same natures were there to help destroy from within the tribe. As we see the numbers that we have now, it's not necessarily a bad thing because the shaking is always going on. But sometimes it's necessary for certain information, as many of the brothers have found, to be released. You literally would have to go through strict trials and tribulations. A lot of people would just think, oh, I've entered into this order, tell me what you know. Not realizing that that was just the first step in the path to receive what it is we came here for. Does that help?
That does answer my question. But
I would like to thank everybody for enduring this beautiful weather and coming out here today. It's greatly appreciated. I know it's not the easiest thing to do. And y'all have a wonderful week, and we'll see you next week. Well done.